So we've looked at the 10-inch, the 8-inch. Today we're looking at the smallest and the cheapest at only $59 as of this video, the new 7-inch ONN tablet by Walmart. But I'll leave a link down below with current pricing and more information. This one also comes in 4 different colors: pearl, lavender, indigo, and the one shown here is papaya, or as I like to call it, orange. It's got a 7-inch LCD display at 1024 by 600 resolution, just like the other two ONN tablets that we looked at. But this one has the Helio G36 processor, and it's got Android 14 Go edition. It's got 3 gigabytes of RAM, 32 gigabytes of storage. And surprisingly, this one looks like the same aluminum design that the other two tablets are. You've also got the user guide, quick start guide, and micro SD card removal tool as well. You've got a USB-A wall adapter and USB-C to USB-A charging cable as well. As you can see, everything's marked by the sticker on the front. Definitely a little harder to get the sticker off on this one. Okay, yeah, once I got the sticker wet, it peeled off a little better. Definitely a nicer build quality than I was expecting. You've got the power and volume over on the right-hand side, micro SD card tray on the opposite side, and then you have 2 speakers down at the bottom, along with your charging port. As you can see, really nice and large bezels all the way around. Seems like they could have made this tablet even smaller, considering how large the bezels are. Here's a quick size comparison against my Galaxy S22 Plus, next to the 8 and 10-inch versions as well. But I have to say the bezels on the 8-inch version does look quite a bit better. And then of course, this is Widevine L3, so it's only going to be SD playback resolution for apps like Netflix, 720p for YouTube videos. The weird thing about the screen on here, it looks lower resolution compared to the 8-inch version, but the 7-inch actually seems a little brighter and has better viewing angles. Overall screen quality though, kind of what you would expect for a tablet in this price range. And then of course, when setting up, you've got gesture navigation and 3-button navigation. Even though this is Android 14 Go edition, it's gonna look and work very similar to regular Android 14. It's just basically a lighter version so that things are going to run a little quicker than if you had the full Android 14 on here. As you can see, they do put the navigation buttons down to the right hand side, pretty similar to the 8-inch version. One thing you will notice, you don't have the Google Discovered newsfeed left of the home screen like you do on the other two tablets. Pretty much the same apps though. You've got most of the ones from Google, and they also have the Walmart app on there as well. You've also got the taskbar down here at the bottom, which does come in handy from time to time if you want to quickly switch between apps. The notification shade looks very similar to the larger tablets. You've got most of your basic stuff like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, flashlight, do not disturb, auto brightness, QR scanner, alarm, airplane mode, auto rotate, battery saver, screencast, screen record, mic and camera access, security and privacy. You can also add a handful of other things like extra dim, dark theme, nearby share, and so on. Now, because this is the Go edition of Android 14, you're not going to be able to play all the games or use all the apps that you can on the regular Android 14. For instance, you can only get Asphalt 8 on this instead of Asphalt 9, so that's another thing to consider. You might want to make sure the app you want to use is available on here. Of course, performance with this tablet is not going to be that great. That's why they put the Go edition on here instead of regular Android 14. But surprisingly, you can play games like Asphalt 8 and PUBG Mobile fairly smooth on here. Just keep in mind, it's going to be lower graphics. It's not going to be quite as smooth as the larger 8 and 10-inch versions. I also ran my typical battery drain test on here at 100% screen brightness, and it lasted about 6 hours, which is less than the 8-inch and 10-inch ONN tablets, but still a nice improvement over the previous 7-inch ONN tablet. So you can get a couple of days with mixed usage, especially if you turn the screen brightness down. So overall, not too bad as far as battery life, but obviously if you want better battery life, you'll want to go with the 8-inch version. Also keep in mind, similar to the other tablets, this one is pretty slow at charging as well. Just like the 8-inch version, you've got 2 speakers over on one side or on the bottom, depending on how you hold this. They're not the best sounding speakers, and it's sort of unbalanced with sound only coming from one side, but they definitely seem loud enough for most things. Here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of what it sounds like. It's got a 2 megapixel camera on the back, 2 megapixel on the front. Just like the larger versions, the camera app on here is probably one of the simplest you'll see on a tablet. You just got picture and video. Obviously, it's going to look lower resolution than most other tablets, and it shoots up to 720p resolution for video recording. Obviously, you're going to get better results from most cell phones, even the ones that don't cost much more than this. But here's a few samples just to give you an idea of what to expect. So not a huge surprise, but photo and video quality is pretty low on this tablet. Just like the larger 8 and 10 inch versions, I feel like these should be 4 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage, at least for these budget tablets. And we don't know how many software updates this is gonna get. Not a huge surprise considering the cost of these, but just something to consider. If you like phones, tablets, and other tech, I've got quite a few more that I'm working on, so you'll wanna keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.